Even though we were given almost zero information other than a title, I am very excited for the announcement of Respawn's Star Wars game, Jedi Fallen Order. It's not what I'm most excited for out of everything from E3, but since this is a Star Wars channel, I wanted to run through my hopes for what the game might include when it comes out next year. First, let's just cover what we know so far. Back in 2016, we were told Respawn was working on an all-new third-person action-adventure game. StarWars.com confirms that it is indeed a single-player game that tells a new story that follows a surviving Padawan shortly after the events of Revenge of the Sith. And that's it. That's everything we know. The premise alone is compelling enough for me. Jedi surviving Order 66 is nothing new. I mean, we know that Vader and the Inquisitors spent 19 years after the Clone Wars hunting down Jedi, and they still didn't get Yoda or Obi-Wan or Kanan. And speaking of Kanan, I did instantly think of him because his comic, Kanan the Last Padawan, told a very similar story. But I'm sure that there will be plenty of differences between the two characters. And now that we know a little more about that era, I'm very excited for what we might see. For example, the current Darth Vader comic is set in the days and months after Order 66. Some fans have speculated that the new Padawan character could have already been mentioned in that comic. Matt Martin of the Story Group shot that down, but said that there would be hints to the game in coming issues. As for what we've already seen, we've met a number of Inquisitors and their own personal set of specialized clone troopers. I wouldn't be surprised to see those troopers make an appearance along with some new and familiar Inquisitors. I could see something similar to the format of The Force Unleashed, where you have to fight your way through Imperial forces and then face off against Inquisitors. Although, the idea of being hunted after Order 66 is really interesting to me. I would love it if there were more of a stealth element to this game instead of just a straight-up hack and slash like The Force Unleashed. After all, you're playing a Padawan. You're not fully trained, and to go up against specialized clone troopers and fallen Jedi shouldn't be easy, it should be terrifying. I'm kind of imagining the gameplay reveal of The Last of Us Part 2, which, by the way, is what I'm most excited about from E3 this year. I love the intensity of the first Last of Us game, requiring you to hide and be smart about your attacks so you wouldn't become overwhelmed. In that game, you can pretty confidently take down one enemy in a fight, but you start to get worried against two, and taking on 3 at a time is borderline suicidal. Thinking about that type of gameplay but set in the Star Wars universe gives me chills. I mean, consider a dark nighttime level with these black armored clone troopers hunting you, and they've got flashlights on their blasters, and igniting your lightsaber would only give your position away to everyone in the area, so you'd have to rely more on your strategic and probably very limited use of the Force since you're a Padawan, and igniting your lightsaber to attack should be like a last-ditch effort. What I'm getting at is I hope this game doesn't feel like The Force Unleashed. Don't get me wrong, that's a very fun game, but being set so soon after the events of Revenge of the Sith makes me want to explore what it's like to fight for survival as a young, untrained, potentially weak Jedi. I don't want to be ripping Star Destroyers out of the sky. I want to come out of every level breathless, like I barely scraped by. To me, that's much more interesting, and I'm getting psyched up just talking about it. But those are just my hopes and dreams for the game, and I probably got myself all worked up for stuff that is never going to happen, but that's okay, because ultimately all I really want from a Star Wars game is a single-player action-adventure with a great story. I was very excited for Visceral's game because I thought that's what it was going to be, so I was heartbroken when it was cancelled. But the more we hear about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the more potential I think it has to be exactly what I'm hoping for. But as long as we get a good, fun story to play through, I'll be happy. Before I wrap up, I do want to mention that Hello Greedo did a similar video to this a few days ago. He beat me to the topic even though he has a newborn baby, so go check out his thoughts and ideas on the title if you're still looking for more about the game. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.